morning, Hoosier Nation, and welcome to another victorious edition of Hoosier Morning After. This is Hoosier Morning After Bethune-Cookman. I'm probably going to say BC for the rest of the show just to avoid stumbling over that name of that school. Indiana goes on yesterday on the noon game, the coveted noon spot of basketball, to beat BC 100-56 to improve to 7-0 on the season. Kind of the final tune-up game for IU before getting into a really kind of important early four-game swing for IU. Was really hoping for a game that IU could get some rhythm and success kind of on both sides of the ball, really show up and play their game, do what they wanted to do, not play down to their competition. You've seen that a lot in past games like this, the kind of early season trap games. Indiana's been very guilty of this in the past and been very frustrating because you'll not be as energetic or ready for these games, and you find teams that just kind of play to the competition or autopilot through it. And we've seen that this year. We've had a game that's been very similar to that, that's felt very lackluster. This was not the case. IU had some really good rhythm and success on both sides and got off to a great start in this game, shooting the ball overall as well in this game. 4 threes made early in the game, along with 2 Connerway fast break layups, got IU up to a 20-point lead in the first 5 minutes of this game. The first 6 possessions of the game were very successful like that, and that was very much the story of the rest of the half. IU scoring at the three-point line, taking some maybe ill-advised long ones here and there, but then also getting to the paint, being efficient in those 2 zones. Again, if we could bring it up, if I had it, I would show you, but the shot tracker was very good in this. You'd see a lot of dots outside of the three-point arc and a lot inside the paint. So IU being very efficient and very smart with those. And again, that was very much the story of the first half and really kind of led over into the second half. The lead going into halftime for IU was 51-23. The second half, again, very much the same story. IU could have relaxed. IU could have just coasted through, but they kept up the great ball movement, great screens, great cuts, backdoor cuts, all of that. Beautiful. Attacked the basket as well when they needed to, got to the line. Just a good job taking care of business, doing what you need to do in this type of game, getting into this 4-game stretch of 2 Big Ten opponents and the 2 Kentucky teams leading up. I'm your host, Chad Schwartzkopf, here with you always. Martha may be popping in at some point to give his impression of the game. So we'll move forward as we get going into this show. Thank you for being with us. I think it is quick for us to want to talk mainly about Indiana's offense. That's kind of where you get mindset focused in basketball and with these teams and what we've seen in the past. And I think the thing that you continue to see great with this team that has been a surprise since the season started is their defense. Just had great intensity to them the whole entire of the game. It just continues to show where we were concerned about the size and where Indiana would match up. And we still obviously haven't had a huge test with that. We'll have that going into these next 4 games. We've at least seen where IU is going to make up for that in ball pressure. The ball pressure, on-ball pressure has just been fantastic. 8 steals on the game, 11 fast break points, kind of tells that story for you. You could see where IU was being a pester on that. Connor Enright being chief among that. And along with Tatum as well, does that as well. And then Lamar as well. Your star kind of scorer or shooter, you would not expect to be a great on-ball defender or thing like that, because a lot of times they come up from the ranks through AAU ball and all that, and you don't see players that really are used to having to play defense. We kind of had a player like that last year on the squad. I won't name names in that circumstance, but this is a team that all buys in on the defensive end and keeps that intensity up. and that on-ball pressure. And I think you saw that a lot in this game as well, with IU forcing all those steals, forcing turnovers for BC. Let me see real quick, looking that up. BC finished with 11 turnovers. I believe a lot of those were forced by IU, not many of the travel calls like we saw in the last game. Just Indiana being disruptive and not allowing them to get into any sort of offense. They finished with 9 assists on the game. Just really felt like when you watch the game, any sort of movement and cuts, any sort of situations they tried to get into with some rhythm on their offense turned into real quick hero ball, where they were just trying to make one-man plays. Players were just going at the basket themselves, trying to get something going. So good job on the defensive end. Love to see that intensity. Can't wait to see how that transfers to some higher competition as we move forward. That will be kind of the thing, as we've seen as well, that keeps IU in this when we struggle on the offensive end. Going in to kind of talk about some of the players in this game, I think Connor Enright continues to be the player that you love for IU, that pester, that annoying guy that's just at you and you just want to punch. He's very punchable. I'm going to say that. I mean, I'm a fan of IU. If he was on another team, I would not be able to stand him. And there's been plenty of times where we have lacked that tenacious, annoying player, and you then play teams that have that, and it's been sorely missed in the past for IU. And Connor just continues to do that. And the one thing that I'd love to see in this game, he did take 1-3, finished with 3 points, just took that 1-3 corner 3-pointer. Very important as well. It's so important for him to be at least a drop of a threat, to at least draw his man that many more steps closer to him. And he hit that 3 early in the game and then was pretty quiet the rest of the game. So very important for him to find that offensive success as well. He didn't put himself into weird situations driving. I think there's been past games where he'll drive to the basket and then get in weird situations and try to make a layup. He does drive, but he's good at kicking it out and finding guys. You kind of get reactive. If you watched film on him, you'd easily go, okay, well, we don't need to help over when he's driving. But your instincts is going to be if your player, your teammate gets beat on a guy driving, to go over and help, and that collapses. And he's really good at finding guys that are open on the outside, guys that are cutting and everything like that. And that is showed by, again, didn't light it up from a point standpoint, but in an indirect way he did, because he finished with the highest assists on this game with 7 assists for the team. So while you're not scoring those points, you're being a big hand in those points being scored. It's kind of weird to say it that way, but thought he did really good with that. Just 1 turnover as well. And then also 4 defensive rebounds. So that was really good to see as well. He kind of loves to get it in there and mix it up, especially on the defensive glass, which is really great to see him crashing it. And obviously that has been a focus for the team to get on the glass after we had that bad showing in past games. He was the actually leading rebounder behind our 2 tallest players. So they had 8 and 7 rebounds, and he finished with 4. Everyone else with 3. So really well-rounded when you look at the stat sheet rebounding. We'll go into that a little bit further. This was also a game that you really wanted to see Tucker get going. Tucker kind of struggled shooting in the last game. He finished, I think, was with just 3 points or so in the last game, and then came out in this one, obviously trying to find some rhythm and get something going, and was our leading scorer in this game. 20 points on 6 for 12 from the field, 50%, beautiful to see. 5 for 10 from 3. Took some pretty long threes that I wouldn't want to see in some games. Him and Lamar like to do those 25, 30-foot shots, which is just crazy to see him shooting them from that far out. But finished with, even despite that, finished with very efficient 5 for 10 from the field, made all 3 of his free throws. Just 3 rebounds. Again, that's been higher in past games, but was tied for the second highest assists on the game with 5 behind our 2 point guards. So great to see that for him. Got 1 block on the game even as well. So good game for him to get back, find some rhythm shooting, tune it up and everything like that, and be a part of the game. So a good thing moving forward. Someone that did surprise me when I opened up the stat sheet this morning to kind of get ready for the game, for the show here, was that our second leading scorer was Lamar. I don't know if that's just because of the eye test, because of what I saw for him, but Lamar had 18 points on this game, 7 for 15 from the field, and 1 for 9 from 3. And that might be where I kind of am disillusioned in his points, because he did take a lot of threes that he missed in this game, struggled a little bit to find that rhythm. Now, these shots, none of them were air balls. None of them were all that much off. Maybe one might have been from one of those long ones that he took. No, actually, I think all those did hit rim at least. But he did, like I said with Tucker, took some ill-advised, really long threes. I think we'll see at least one of those from each of them a game. I think they had more than just one. I'm going to try to count the next game. And I get it, because they're open and they do have a possibility of making those. And if they do make those, especially at home, Assembly Hall would just erupt with a long 3 like that. But I don't want to see him too often, getting that cocky with them. He did have one of his threes, which is great to see, and a continued threat on one of those fast break opportunities that Indiana had. I think it was Alexis ran the court, brought everyone to the basket, and it was an easy dump off for him as he stepped into a nice 3 in transition. We've seen that already multiple times in these games, and it's a great weapon that he has, and I like seeing him do that. But just, again, it felt quieter for him, but he was still very active getting to the basket in this game, which, if you kind of look at the math with it, he was 6 for 7 on non 3-point shots in this game. So very efficient with all that. I think it was a layup early in the game that he missed. He's kind of going to miss a trademark layup each game. So pretty efficient game overall, taking away the threes for him. And I liked seeing him get downhill a little bit more in this game. And that just continues to mix things up and cause teams to not have to respect that drive. He shouldn't just be a stand-up shooter. He needs to be able to be that threat for teams to honor that. And then that just opens up things, not only for him, but for the rest of the team in these games. Looking through other players on this game, I think Connor Enright, I already talked about Connor. Tatum Connerway, the other Connor, finished with 9 points in this game, 4 for 8, had 5 assists in this. Thought he had a very good game, very aggressive game. Thought he had more assists than 5. Felt like he was involved in a lot of the plays in this game. But again, nothing to really complain about from him. Someone that did get into this game that I think in the first half, he scored a little bit more of his points. Trying to see, 8 points. Trent Sicily had 8 points in the first half and 6 in the second. Just felt like he was always where he should be and doing things that he needed to do. I think it was one of his 3-point makes in this game, which he just finished with 1. That he just makes himself available and is ready to shoot when it comes to him. He was 1 for 3 from 3. Excuse me. It was actually a moment in the game where he was open for 3. They missed him, but I saw it develop where one of the players drive to the basket and Trent kind of came back door and he was open for that pass. And when he saw that it wasn't there, he then quickly reversed back out and got to the 3-point line instead of continuing to ball watch, pulled his man out a little bit, which allowed that player to finish that drive and make the basket. So it's little things that he does where he doesn't look like a freshman. He doesn't look like a deer in headlights. I haven't seen, excuse me, very often in his games those moments. Sure, early in the season we saw it, but I feel like he got through the deer in headlights stage of freshmanhood, if you will, very early in the season, and is just that contributor off the bench that any team would love to see, and especially that being a freshman. He finished with 14 points in this game on 6 for 10 shooting and led the team in rebounds. That's the other thing too. That hustle that he has, he's clearly doing what he needs to do to get to the glass, boxing out, finish with 9 rebounds on the game, 2 offensively, 7 on the defensive end, highest on the defensive end for Indiana in 22 minutes. So he got a pretty good stretch of minutes in this game as well. And I think that's going to continue. It will be very interesting to see him moving forward as we get into Big Ten competition and other games, how he's going to continue to match up and make an impact. Usually you would see a fall off from freshmen when the competition raises up, but I don't think we've seen that from him. I don't feel like he has struggled like you would expect other players in his situation to struggle. So love, continue to be a huge Trent Sicily fan club member. Punch my card. I volunteer to become president, whatever it is. I'll be an active member of that fan club because it makes you so excited. What is more exciting as an IU basketball fan than having an Indiana kid that comes in and just works his butt off as a freshman, doesn't complain, does the right things, is fundamentally sound as a player, and you know you're going to have him for multiple years just to continue, which is especially important in this squad and this team with this many players that we're going to lose going forward. To have a kid that's about the right things and is learning the system well and adapted to it and setting that new culture, not only the culture that the new coach has, but also being an Indiana kid and a fan growing up, knows the culture of Indiana overall. Just great. What a fantastic keep on this squad, and so excited to see him moving forward and everything, and just be that kind of freshman glue guy is kind of what he has been for this team. Reed Bailey felt like a slight step back from the last game. I think he found something big time in that second half, like we talked about, of the last game, where to be more aggressive and everything. I think he struggled a bit to find that again. Take a quick drink of coffee there. 5 points in this game, 1 for 4 from the field, 3 for 4 from 3. He did get to the free throw line a couple times as he did find a little bit of that aggression. Did get 7 rebounds, which was good to see. So he was at least active on the glass and finished with 4 assists. So great for a big man as well to find things. And then 2 blocks. I think of the aggression side, that was the good thing to see. Really strong block on one of those. So happy to see that. But I think while not a horrendous game, was maybe a slight step back after he showed us what he can do from a physicality standpoint in the second half of the last game. That is something that he needs to hopefully be able to find and fine tune and really keep that in his bag. Because if that's where he can find himself, then my concerns in our lack of size goes down considerably. But he did show off being our point guard, bringing the ball up a couple times. So he shows that he can do those types of things. And I think if we can lean on both his versatility and his ball movement with the ball, and some of that aggression, that's where we're going to see some good things happen for IU when we go against bigger guys. So that's something I'm really going to be looking for in these next 4 games for IU, is to see what Reed Bailey can do. My gaze will really kind of be focused on that, because where that goes is going to really kind of tell that extra blip of success in very physical, very big orientated Big Ten conference. So Sam Alexis, I think, came in, did a good job. 14 points for him, 6 for 9 from the field, perfect on his free throws, 8 rebounds, just behind Trent Sicily on the rebounds with 8 to Trent's 9. 1 block from him as well. So 2 steals. So a good game from Alexis coming off the bench. Nothing really stood out as huge plays for me thinking back to the game, but great to have 14 points off the bench. And again, this was a time where the bench guys did get kind of extended minutes, where you have him with 14, Nick Dorn with 14, and Trent Sicily with 14. So big points off of the bench when Tatum Connerway and Reed Bailey and Connor Enright all in the single digits for IU. But again, a lot more minutes for them, get them a lot of run. And you really saw that with coach as well, messing around with the lineups a little bit and seeing who could find rhythm together. And that was the game to do it. Once the game was handled very well, they were able to do that and continue building. So that was good to see. You saw Josiah Miles get extended run with 13 minutes for him, and Nick Dorn got 19 in this. And good to see him find some success as well, where he finished this game with 14 points, all from the 3-point line and the free throw line. He finished 4 for 5 from the field, 4 for 5 from 3-point line, perfect 2 for 2 from the free throw line as well. And great to see him find some of his offense in this game. Excuse me. Because he needs to be that kind of threat coming off the bench, and hopefully build upon that. And like we said, could be, may not be. We may be kind of set in what our starting lineup is, but if he does crack into that starting lineup, all the better for this team. But was good to see him get into double digits and at least find some rhythm there. I think he could continue to be a threat, also getting downhill with some of his athleticism and everything. And I think that was kind of shown by, I think the one time he did get to the line on that 2 for 2 was a drive that he got fouled on. So slow build, but good to see him get those minutes and find his footing that much more. Was hoping to see a few other players. There was teased that a few other players might be able to get into the lineup on this one, but didn't see them get in there in the end. But yeah, what you wanted to see from individual players in this game was to make their impact, work on some things that they maybe have been struggling with, find some rhythm. And I think that they did in this game. Looking at some stats in this game, not really any tough stats that kind of show their head to concentrate on. 7 turnovers. So that's a good average for IU to hopefully strive for and sit at in this season. The stat that continues to be a great one and a new one that we love for IU is 27 assists on 36 made baskets. IU continues to be the unselfish team, and great to see that. 33 defensive rebounds, only 10 offensive rebounds. They were hitting their shots, though, so that's part of the reason for those 10 offensive rebounds. Didn't need to rebound them as much, but overall, a better rebounding and concentration. Obviously, good to see that we had that struggle game, and IU has responded with good fundamentals again on the rebounding side, getting 43 rebounds to 29 for BC. Another great thing, obviously, to look at the way this team defensively can hold to other teams to low points per possession. And in this one was no different. They held BC to 0.84 for 8 points per possession. Really great to see that. While IU was scoring on 1.429 points per possession. So, yeah, great game. Great to see things going down well. Shooting wise as well, a pretty good line to look at. 84% from the free throw line. That's astounding and worth a teary eye. But overall, 54 from the field, and glory hallelujah, 80 or 38% from 3-point line. So good numbers overall, guys. Good stat sheet overall. 8 steals in this game, 4 blocks. Nothing stands out. Like I said, nothing stands out in this game as a negative. A good tune-up game, a good game to get things going and ready for the games that we have going up. Without Martha here, though, I will take this moment to talk about our unofficial sponsor of the show, and that is Hoosier Ticket Project. Hoosier Ticket Project, if you don't know them or haven't seen them before, is an organization that takes those unused Hoosier tickets and finds deserving Hoosier fans that may not have the means or the abilities to get to IU sporting events and gets them to them. Makes those great memories, those great moments for IU. Many of us, any of you that have gone to games, know how wonderful of a feeling it is to be in Assembly Hall now with the football, to be in to see it live, to be a part of the sporting event, to have that memory. And they're getting a lot of families, a lot of kids, their first times, their first moments getting into these sporting events and seeing these players up front, and a lot of times getting to meet them, get pictures with them. So HoosierTicketProject.org, HoosierTicketProject.org is where you go to make donations. You can also find in their page there where you can nominate people to have tickets donated to. Just a great organization, a great opportunity, a great thing to continue to be a great Hoosier and show what it is to show love to your other Hoosier fans in Hoosier Nation. So check them out if you can. If you're not able to use tickets, we know we've got basketball now coming along and everything. We got women's basketball. So think about HoosierTicketProject.org instead of going to one of those ticket resale spots when you have those extra tickets, if you will. Thanks, guys. Finishing up, kind of final comments about this game. Games like this have in the past been weird little, the word trap game gets said a lot in these, where teams will come out flat. They kind of play to the level of the opponent. They don't execute very well in the games. And this was luckily not one of those. This was something that you wanted to see. IU keeping up the intensity throughout the game, even in garbage time, as they'll call it. They didn't just walk around. They were still cutting hard to the ball, sharing the ball. Different lineups got in and guys stayed engaged. Was good to see and shows what this coaching staff pushes with this team, is that intensity. And despite who your opponent is, we come in and we take care of business and we do what we are going to do as a team. And I love to see that. And it's a great mentality. It's a great way to handle yourself. And it's what Hoosier Nation has been hoping for in the past. And now we have it here. So it's great to see. I can't wait to see what this next 4-game stretch leads for IU. That 4-game stretch that I'm talking about is Wednesday. IU has the first Big Ten game of the season at Minnesota. Can't stand that court. Can't stand that place. 7 p.m. is the kick. That's on BTN. Then following that, we have Saturday against number 6 ranked right now, Louisville. It's at Indiana, so that's great. Actually, I think that one's actually up in Indy. So that's the 2 p.m. game. That's that interesting double hitter that you can hit. So you could go to football game, or I think it's the basketball game. Yeah, you can go to the basketball game and then make your way to the football game after that. I'm jealous of you guys. I know Jennifer probably is going to do that. Let me know if you're watching in the chat, Jennifer, if you're going to that, or any of you are going to try to do that double hitter. Very jealous of you guys for Saturday if you're able to do that. But anyways, those of you that can't, that's a 2 p.m. game on CBS. And we follow up that next week with another Big Ten game, Penn State, and the very big game at Kentucky, number 19 ranked right now. IU sitting at 25. Maybe IU might pop up as well. But a very interesting, very telling possible 4-game stretch that's going to come up here in these next games. So excited to see it. I feel a lot better now having had these past 2 games, these good tune-up games, as I have said, where IU can find some success not only for Reed Bailey, but get some rhythm for Tucker again, and just let's get ready to start the Big Ten season. Such an exciting time for Indiana, exciting time to have football doing what they're doing, basketball doing what they're doing, women's team doing what they're doing. Volleyball is about to be selected into the tournament for themselves. So that's going to do it for this edition of Hoosier Morning After. Thank you for being with me. Follow me on Twitter at General Chadwick. Martha, you can follow at the Mob Lady. We'll be back again the morning after the next game, Thursday morning. We will see you then. Until then, guys, go out there. Have yourselves a wonderful day. And as always,